Hi, I'm Brendan Payne with Century 21 and here today with Jill Lindstrand, who's also with our company. And Jill, I appreciate you sitting down and kind of giving us your insight in kind of your history in the business so far. So you have been in the business for how long now?
10 years now.
10 years now, okay. And what were you doing prior to getting into real estate?
I was in mortgages for a year, and prior to that, retail.
Okay, so you were at a retail background and then 10 years in real estate. Now I know we started about the same time, so you have been in the beach with Century 21 for about 7 years, and then so you're about 3 years in real estate up north, right?
Prior to that.
Okay, and then retail background before that. Okay.
Mortgage and then retail.
Okay, so thinking back, what was the initial reason or what attracted you to get into real estate?
We had a friend of ours that owned a real estate company, and I was in the mortgage business prior to that. And you know, as much as I love mortgages, I wasn't able to get out and be with people. So it was more about being with people and out and about. I couldn't be just behind a desk. Okay,
so you were in a related field and dealing with agents, of course, and dealing with buyers, but not on a level that you obviously have to from being an agent. So you wanted to try to get more involved in that.
Exactly.
Okay, so when you made that jump, did you have some initial concerns from going from the mortgage industry into real estate, or tell me about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I went from the mortgage industry, I was making a very good income.
Okay.
And you know, transitioning into real estate, I didn't know the first thing about real estate, obviously. So yeah, I mean, it was very scary for me. But the friend that I was working for, you know, he was with me from day one, step one, and you know, he helped guide me, of course. But you know, the thing about it is that I knew a lot of people. So my first few years in real estate, I sold to mostly friends and family. Okay. And that's really what helped me.
Okay. So now you were in New Jersey doing mortgages, made the jump then to get into real estate, got off the ground, got stabilized, it sounds like. We're doing, you know, enough business to see that it made sense. How did you then have the confidence to make the move and, you know, move 1,000 miles away or 800 miles away and start over in real estate?
You know, for me, it wasn't a question of starting over for my career. It was starting over a whole new life. So going from New Jersey, and we bought a home in Myrtle Beach, but it was really a second home for us. We never had the intention of moving. But you know, the more time we spent down here, the more I hated leaving. Okay. So every time I went back to New Jersey, I was like, what am I doing here? So it was more of a lifestyle thing, and then I was gonna worry about the business after that. Okay,
got it. So what gave you or influenced you once you got down here? Did you interview with some other companies, or how did you come about choosing and coming to work for us?
Yeah, I actually worked for like 3 or 4 different companies for the first year and a half. And my neighbor at the time worked for Century 21, the Harrelson group. And you know, I was floundering. I couldn't find a company that I really could grip onto, that I felt comfortable, that I knew I could grow myself and grow my business. So at the time, my neighbor, you know, she kept asking me to come to the company, and you know, finally met Jan and talked with her and made the jump. My brother actually, it's a funny story, worked for the company for a week. I don't know, like a year and a half before that, and he said, when I told him I was thinking about coming, he said, oh no, you're gonna hate it. They make you stand and call all morning. Oh, okay. So I said, all right, you know, I'm still gonna try it. You know, you never know. I'm not doing well at any other company. I'm not feeling like I belong. Right. So I still made the jump, and the funny thing is, a couple years later, he found how successful I was being, and now he's at the company.
Look who's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah.
That's a great story. So before you came to our office, like how many deals were you doing in New Jersey on an annual basis?
You know, 8 to 10 a year.
Okay, and then when you came down here first year or so, you were kind of bouncing around. So like, what were you doing here? Were you getting back to 8 to 10 at least?
No,
okay.
no.
So you never really were back in business when you got here until you came and got on board with us.
To the Harrelson Group, yeah.
Okay. So what are you on track to do this year? Close transactions?
Close to 90.
Close to 90, okay. And what do you feel like you'll do, like what's your goal then for next year?
You know, my goal is to do 150 next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, and you're doing 2014, let's say you end up with 90 transactions. How many of those, like what's your split? Are you working primarily buyers, sellers, a little bit of both, or what are you doing?
Mostly buyers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So nearly all those buyer sales.
All of them are buyers.
Okay. And that's,
maybe 5 might be sellers.
Yeah. In you know, within the industry, I mean, the average agent in our market's probably selling 3 to 4 homes. The average agent that's a top producer, you know, if they're selling 70, 80, I don't know that there's anybody that's doing those as buyer sales. So that's, I mean, there's definitely some, from a time frame standpoint, you've got some time invested in those. What have you learned? Just take it, I know a ton because you've grown the business so much in the last few years. The last 12 months, what have you really learned that has allowed you or helped you grow? Because you've made some pretty big jumps in the last couple of years.
You know, I think for me, I just really started taking the business seriously.
Okay.
You know, really wanted to make it a business. You know, I always had the tools, always. So it's either a matter of whether or not you decide to use those tools and utilize them, because you always have them at the Harrelson Group. But, you know, it's whether you embrace it. So I really just said, I'm going to make a change, and I'm going to, you know, for my future and my family to make a difference. Okay.
So what are some of those tools and stuff that you're talking about? Because they are always there, and a lot of times the difference is how much of it you execute or how much of it you implement. What do you think makes the difference between what we have available versus what some of the other companies or some of the other individuals have available to them that are out there?
Well, I mean, first of all, we have the coaching with Greg, and he's always available. We have a whole closing department that, you know, closes all our transactions. We don't have to worry about that. I have an assistant that helps me with a lot. We also have Infusionsoft that sends out to our entire database all the letters, constantly keeping in contact with them. If they click, you know that they click, and you give them a call and follow up. We have a Real Geek system that actually, you know, keeps all of our leads organized and keeps me organized. So I have a great follow-up system, all kinds of letters in there that I can just, you know, click and call people. So yeah, I mean, those are just a few off the top of my head. Yeah,
so it sounds like if you're willing to commit to the time and learning the conversations and what to say, then the growth happens when you start doing things that allow you to be more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you're sitting down with a brand new agent or somebody that's just considering getting in the business. What's one piece of advice, and they're telling you, no, I want a big career in real estate. I mean, you're impressed me. I want to do what you're doing. What's the one piece of advice that you give them?
The most important thing that I could tell somebody starting out in the business is, if you're going to get into real estate, it's not going to be a part-time job. Take it as a full-time job and take it seriously, and you'll do very well. You can't just take it in stride and, you know, be half in the business, half not. Right. So if you're going to do it, just consider that you're in a full-time job, a career. Okay. So with that in mind, what do you think what do you imagine your career to look like down the road? What do you have as far as your dreams and goals within the business? You know, short term, a little bit more of a short-term goal is to have a team of showing agents and, you know, just kind of grow my business. And then also, you know, to become a mentor to other agents. I would love to do that. And then also to possibly, you know, be in partnership or own my own company at one time. Awesome. So in one sentence or a few words, how would you describe our company as you see it right now? One sentence. You know, I think it's more of like a sense of community, a sense of family. You know, it really truly is, and we all say this, it's about our environment.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't do what I do, I can't imagine doing what we do at another company where the whole company isn't involved. I don't know if I would be as motivated every morning to do it if I was just doing it on my own. But I think our environment really helps all of us and keeps pushing each other.
Yep, definitely does. Great information. I know everybody's going to love to see this, and I appreciate your time and sharing it all with us.
Yeah,
Thanks.
certainly.